not sure if it's going to show up as 8.5 or as 85, but you'll get it either way. We are down to mixed doubles in strategy, mixed doubles in play, mixed doubles format, all kinds of things in mixed doubles. They're an absolutely gorgeous day today, so it's really, really nice weather, especially for spring, because you never know what's going to happen in second summer session. And what I want you to remember while we're doing this, and we're out here almost all by ourselves today, is that sometimes because of the view, when we play doubles and we move around a lot, sometimes you'll lose sight of maybe somebody in a back corner or a back side or down by the alley or something of that sort. But we're going to switch around enough with these two mixed doubles teams so that you'll kind of see what's going on. Now, I'm going to have them come over before the match and then after the match, and then we'll have a little break in between that we'll still keep filming, that they're going to switch partners so that you'll get an idea of what's going on. Mixed doubles, male and female, men and women playing against equal team on that. Now, this is recreational for us.
I'm good.
Different professional matches are different. Sometimes the matches are you go play somewhere, the rules will be a guy can only serve to a guy or a girl can only serve to a girl, things of that sort. But we're just going to play as if right now. So I'm going to have Jimmy and Laura come over right quick, and they're just going to give an idea to kind of tell you why they chose to team up together and what their initial assessment is of what they think they're going to do. Why did one of them choose forehand? Why did one of them choose backhand? Why did one of them choose to serve on the side they're going to do, and vice versa? So Jimmy and Laura are going to come over just for a second. Y'all are playing as a team, correct? Sure. Okay, good. So they're starting off playing as a team. I'm going to get over here to the side so you can see them. And Jimmy's going to tell you maybe why he decided that he was going to be playing on the backhand side and Laura was going to be playing on the forehand side. Because typically when you warm up on the side that you're going to play on in the match. And then they're going to throw out what they've decided about serving. And then Laura will give some input. They can both do it at the same time about their strategy. They've warmed up enough that they have an idea what they're going to do against this other team, and then the other team's going to come over in secret and tell us what they think.
Okay. Well, the reason I started out on the backhand side is I think it's an advantage for the man to take the ad point sometimes, unless the girl is playing a lot better. But we do switch after the first set sometimes. Just if we didn't have a very good first set, we'll switch. Yeah, we'll change things up. Pretty much our strategy is attack the net, and that's where the points are won. Correct?
Sure. Okay. Jimmy and I played doubles together for 10 years, so that's why he's on the backhand side.
There you go. There you go. So tell us about what you think about partnership, not only in mixed doubles, but doubles in general, what the deal is, since obviously you do know each other.
I think our games complement each other. I'm better at the baseline, and he will go first up in the net. But we get along really well, and we can laugh about
have a good time
when we play poorly.
There you go. And what about communication?
We communicate
we
really
communicate.
well.
She usually tells me what to do.
There you go. Even better.
Yeah,
even
like
better. Even better. There you go. Even better. Even
She's
better.
The boss.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, it is about communication. So yeah.
Kind of a give and take and support each other when you're playing.
Yeah,
great.
definitely.
Okay, and you can see in the background that Jane, her and her partner Trey, they're still warming up a little bit on network. So we're going to let Laura and Jimmy go back in, and they're going to finish up some of their warm up, and then we'll let Jane and Trey come over and give us their thing. And then when we switch up partners, we'll do this again just like that. If you have any questions, you'll have to write them in. So there we go. Jane, you and Trey, it's y'all's turn. So they're going to come over and give your take. Like I said, it's kind of neat to see because Jane and Trey just really met each other. So Jane and Trey are going to be a new doubles team, a new mixed doubles team, which as Jimmy and Laura have played a long time. So they know who can get what and who's going to do things. So the take on the match and how they're going to play will probably be different than the take that Jane and Trey will have. So they're going to give you a little bit of their input. So Jane, why do you think that you decided that you're going to play on the side that you're playing on?
Probably because my forehand is stronger, so my backhand's a little weaker. So usually with mixed doubles, most women play on the forehand side.
Good comment. Yeah.
Most men are a little bit stronger on their backhand, a little bit more accurate. And if things don't work out, we'll switch.
There you go. That's even better. Trey, you're good on this.
Sometimes I take a look at who's serving, if they're right or left-handed. If they're dominant left-handed serve, maybe Maybe I want to play in the deuce side if they're a dominant right-handed serve. Maybe I want to play in the ad side.
Perfect.
So I take a look at who's serving, who's the strongest server, and probably want to see if I can't help out my partner the most by being in the right position in that circumstance.
Now, what do you think, either one of you, what do you think your take on mixed doubles versus just men's doubles and women's doubles? What makes it, I don't want to say better or worse, but different, same, different, or challenges? What do you think?
Well, I think it's a cornucopia of craziness sometimes. You
It's
never
even
know what
better.
you're going to get.
It's even better.
It's an interesting mix of sometimes the female is the dominant player, sometimes the male is, and you're not quite sure who to attack or who to play. With the men's doubles, you have that same expectation that you're equal partners when you're playing, or with the women's playing. But with mixed, you don't know who might be the stronger or weaker opponent under what circumstances, and so that's who you want to attack, and that takes some time to feel out during the match.
So you think if you had to maybe put some order in some things or set it out, do you think communication, strategy, type of ball you hit, what do you think maybe is kind of the secret to doubles in general?
Personally, for me, I think the variety of shots.
Perfect.
Because when
Good
you're
answer.
playing mixed, I mean, tennis is one of the few sports that you actually have a co-ed team.
Correct.
I mean, not many other sports have it
Correct.
at all that I can think of. But most men have strength. So their thing is great ground stroke, great putaways. Whereas for women, we have a little bit more finesse. We can lob a little bit more. We can set our partners up to
Finish
win
off
that
the point.
point. Yeah.
Perfect.
So I think for me personally, when I play with a guy that I know is stronger than that, who's aggressive, I'm going to do whatever I can to set that person up to end the point.
Perfect. Perfect.
I don't disagree with that.
Perfect. Very good. Very good. Well, good luck to you since you guys are first-time partners and they are long-time partners. So we'll see the adjustments, and then after we kind of get this little mini set done, then we'll switch, and you each will have new partners with new situations. So,
Sounds
okay, go ahead and spin your racket, decide who's going to serve and who's going to serve on what side. So this is going to be a really nice, informative, interesting match. First of all, I think you'll notice that something that they mentioned right off the bat, both of them, is how much fun it is and how different things are. That's what's really neat about tennis. You can go out and you can just, oh my gosh, you can't miss a thing, and then you can go out the next time and you can't hit a thing. Then you go out and you outthink them, and then sometimes they outthink you. Sometimes you get on a roll and you have to change. But it's really nice to have doubles in there that you've got somebody else to bounce ideas off, and that you feel like you're equal people going. So right now you can see that they've spun the racket. They're sitting there talking about who's deciding what they're going to do. And remember, your choices are side, serve, return, or defer. Defer, again, I've made this comment before. I do not think that there is a reason to defer, but I will say that if you were going to defer, it would probably be better to do in a doubles match than a singles match, because singles, you always serve both sides. Doubles, you're alternating the sides. So if you want to defer to C, to put them at a disadvantage, then that might be the thing to do. So you see Jimmy, they've elected for him to serve, and notice where he's serving from. He's halfway between the single service mark and the doubles alley. So first serve. There you go. And they're discussing whether he's going to do what's called first ball in, or if he's going to take serves. And usually when it's recreational like this, we'll play first ball in, or we'll give them a chance to warm their serve up. We don't want to go out and just cold turkey net count right then, because if you'll notice that they were just hitting before. And going back to some of the rules and regulations, we said usually you have a 10-minute warm-up. Now, you and yourself could warm up as much as you want, but when you get ready to warm up in a match with someone, it's usually 10 minutes. And usually 8 of it's hitting, and the last 2 minutes is serving, which it really needs to be the other way around. You need to have 8 minutes of serving and 2 minutes of hitting, because again, as we've said before repeatedly, if you do not get your serve in, you're going to get no points. If you don't get your return in, you're going to get no points. So I want you to notice where Laura is standing while her partner is serving. The serving team, the person at the net, stands closer to the net. The receiving team, if you can see around the corner where Trey is, he's moved back a little further in the service box because he's going to help call the serves. He's going to let Jane know whether the serve is long or if it's in. So that was a super serve, really deep. And if you could see the angle that went in, it kind of curved away from Jane. So it made her return a little harder to hit. They've both been talking about they think the net is a little bit high. So that's another thing. Before the match starts, you would go out and measure the height of the net, especially if it was a very competitive match you were playing. You'd want to know that the net was not too high or the net was not too low. This is his second serve. Look how he kind of comes around his serve. That's what gives it a little bit of spin. He's going to try and keep it away from the net person. And they're going to give themselves an eye to see whether that ball was in or not. So when all people come up to the net, it makes it really difficult because then it becomes like almost like a ping pong match. You're in there trying to hit off of it and see what's going on. Now keep remembering the server always calls their score out first, and they call the score out every single point.
30 all.
See? See how he did that? 15 all means each one of them got a point. That ball was just out on that volley. Ooh, that was really close, but Jane is the one who makes the call on that because she can see right where the line is. We can't see from here. There we go. And see how she picked that up? She got that return just a little too close to the net person, which was Laura, just a little too close to her. So it was really easy for her to pick that ball off. And then she placed it out of the hands so that there could not be a return by Trey. Now notice where Jane's standing. She's going to make nice little service calls in the box for Trey. And I know you're losing a little bit sight of Trey over here returning because he's pretty far in the back corner. And that's another thing that happens with guys when they serve. Guys tend to hit just a little. Good block over here.
Thank you.
Guys tend to hit just a little bit deeper on their serves. And so you want to give yourself farther back to return it. So that's what we're looking at right there. Now, if that ball had bounced out during play and we would have had to go get it, then we would have to stop and play the point all over again. 45 is the same as 40-15, which means they have 3 points, meaning Jimmy's team. Jimmy is a server, and they have 1 point. There we go. Nice one. Nice little forehand. Ooh, good block there. Good step. See? And did you see how even though Jimmy was closer, that was Laura's forehand, and she stepped in front of him, and see how she placed it away? So that's what you want to see. You want to see who's in the best position to do it. Doesn't always mean the person that's there, but it's who's the person that's in the best position. It is now 40-30. Another little sidearm serve. Another little nice forehand. And you notice how he's coming forward on that, but he could notice the ball, the height of the ball as it passed him to know that he needed to let that one go because it was going to be long. A lot of times when people come in, they approach the shot, they follow into the net, and they come in. A lot of times what happens is they make a missed call. They don't know the height of the ball. They're not watching, and so they're hitting a ball that went out. Remember, we always change serves on odd number games, 1, 3, 5th, all those to the games. So now it's going to be Trey's serve. So now they have set their service order. It'll always be Jimmy first, always. It'll always be Trey second. It'll always be Laura third, and it will always be Jane fourth. That cannot change until this is over. This set is over. They're doing a lot of good court coverage here. Look at the angles they're doing. Good hustle by Laura. Look at that. Yes. Great get. Oh, and it went a little long. And that was because her racket face was open. She hit the perfect shot. She was in the perfect place. That goes down to not a mistake. It goes down to execution. So that was really nice to be ready on that part. Trey's going to say love 15, which means that the other team, Laura and Jimmy, have 1 point. Notice where he's standing again, halfway between the two. That was the first serve that went in the net, so he gets his second serve. There we go, nice and deep. Oh, just a little long and wide. So you notice that he had his finger up on that one. That's just an indicator that it's long. He doesn't have to call it long or wide. That's an indicator of the ball is out. So now it's 15-15. 15-15, even score, even side. Oh, what a great serve. Had a little kick on it, jumped up to Laura, and it was really hard for her to get her racket on it. Very well placed. So it is now 30-15, 2 points to 1. And again, if we were playing no ad, then we would say 2-1. That way you'd know it was no ad playing instead of regular scoring. Okay, now watch when they toss up the ball and serve it. You always want to watch. Do they reach up to it? Do they hit it when it's coming down? Do they get on top of it? a little long, and that was a little bit of a racket face there. So remember, a double fault, which means both serves, whether they were long or short or wide. So now it's an even score again. It is 30-30. They each have 2 points. Now, we didn't talk about this in any of the other matches, but there are some points that are more important than other points. When you get up, there are certain points that you don't want to take a chance on, and that was one right there. See how Jimmy came up into the court, and he hit it at his feet, so he needs to be all the way in. So now it's 40-30. This is a very important point, so you want to play it safe or very consistent because you know that you're going to win the game on this point. So that comes from the people that are playing and the people that are receiving. So that ball was nice and wide. So Jimmy might be wanting to think next time, gosh, I really need that point. So maybe I should take a little bit off on it so that it's going to be into play. Because remember, the very first thing that's important after the serve is getting your return back into play. Let them make the next mistake, not you getting it into play. So now, like I said, automatically 2 games have been played. They've each won their serve, so that calls holding your serve. They both held serves. Okay, and Laura's the server up next. She says hers are good. She's not going to take any. And as it was, it is. And oh, run. Look at that. Nice angle on that. Super job. She pulled her over to the side after she made a really nice run and got that ball back. But it pulled her so far out, her partner was unable to protect that area. So she hit it in the middle between the two of them, and she couldn't get to it. So it's love 15. You probably can't see Laura all the way over there, but you can see where her ball lands. Ooh, another good eye. I probably would have hit that one. So another good eye there. He just let it just whiz past him. It was just a little long. So now they are up love 30. So Laura and Jimmy don't have any points yet, but Jane and Trey have 2. These are all good serves. I'm going to pick on Jane because she stood up when she hit that. So you got to keep those knees bent and stay down nice and low. Watch that racket face. We've seen Jane earlier, and we know she plays with an open stance. So she comes around with that nice forehand. So it's 15-30. First serve fault. Now we're ready for the second serve. Very nice. Good little chip return so that he could get in on that. And another little volley and just hit just barely wide on that. And to tell you the truth, I couldn't see all the way down to see if that was long or not. Was it long? It was good. Perfect. Perfect. But you notice how he came in on that approach? He wanted to be in at the net, so just hauling off and hitting the ground stroke. He just went ahead and chipped that return to put it in play to bring him up to the net. So this is really important. This is 40-15. 40-15, I think I jinxed her. 40-15, but did you see how that serve moved her out to her right side? So that was hard to get out. Go back to that theory of what we say. Go to the ball, not parallel. Cut it off. Okay, second serve right here. They're still up. They need this point, and she needed that serve, so that was a double fault. So poor Laura lost her game. She lost serve. They broke her serve on a double fault. So now it is 2-1 in games. They're switching sides is what they're doing now. They're switching sides, and they're going to be on odd-numbered games. So now they can regroup. So the last server is now going to be Jane. This order stays this way. This order cannot change until the set is finished. Also, the positions they play, who plays forehand, who plays backhand, that also cannot change until the first set is over. They just can't do that. So we're probably going to play to where everybody gets to serve 2 times in this particular one. We're probably not going to play a full set so that we can see another set of mix being played on this. So you can see more strategy different. So here we come now, and we've got Jane's serve. And again, you can see her from the ad side because you can see it, but maybe when we go over to the ad outside or not the deuce side, you won't be able to see her as much where she stands. Very nice second serve. Oh, he had all kinds of plans for that. Really nice second serve, a really nice return on Laura's part, and then he got kind of jammed. You see it came right into Jimmy's body, right into his body, and he was going to hit that nice little angle over there, but you saw it hit the tape and fell back. Now, if it hit the tape and fall over, then of course they would have won the point because nobody was there to get it. Another little slice. Another little slice. See how Trey came across? Sometimes we'll call that poaching. He came right across. He watched where Laura was hitting, and he moved right in front of her. So he was able to take advantage of that angle right there. So that's what you're looking at. Jane and them are up 2 points to 1, which is the same as 30 love. So there we go. Second serve, another little angle. Oh, she was going to try and pass him down his alley or down his line because he had moved in just a little bit. But she hit the tape. Now remember, the net is higher on the sides where the alley is. It's higher on those sides. So you have to really pick your ball up if you're going to pass them down the line because it's higher. Score is now 30-15. That was a super duper return. Super duper. Let me say that one more time. Super duper. Knock the snot out of that one, so to speak. So Jane has to be ready. Once she serves, you can't just kind of hang out back there because you don't know if they're going to guide it in, chip it in, or they're going to haul off and hit it in. Here we go. Oops, just a little long. So they went from deuce of 30-30 to now it's Jane's ad. Jane and Trey are up 40-30. This point gives the game. If they lose this point, it goes back to deuce, and somebody has to be 2 points ahead. Okay, that first serve was just wide. And Laura's going to go pick up that ball so it doesn't accidentally blow or get into her feet. She'd get tripped or something of that sort. Or Jane might hit the ball. Either one of those. Trey was really paying attention there. Jumped on that one. Another low ball. Oh, Trey had a good eye. She hit it right at them. So they're getting a lot of balls. They're getting a lot of balls in play that have been difficult to get, which is really nice to see that they're getting those balls. But you got to remember, as soon as someone moves, the other person has to counter the move. So you have to be thinking, as a doubles team and mixed doubles, you have to be thinking every single ball is mine, so that you know you're there for backup. You know you're there in case it hits the tape. Right now they're switching. Immediately it went over Jane's head, Laura's head, and so she immediately knew it was going to be Jimmy's ball so that he can pick it up. So they're watching that as they go along. So we want to make sure the person serving always has 2 balls, and usually their partner has a 3rd ball so they can always play backup with it. So here he goes. They got that first point because it was hit wide. Nice little first serve, came in an angle. There we go. Nice shot. Ooh, just barely. Good eye on Laura's part. Good eye. That was really close. And so for backup, she could see it long, and then Jimmy was on the sidelines, and he could see it also. And you will notice that there's not a lot of talk going on right now about what's happening. They're talking. You may not be able to hear it because I'm doing most of the talking. But they'll let each other know when that ball is in or out, or not to jump for it, or they'll let them know if I have it or I want you to move. They'll do a lot of talking. Another nice angle. Ooh, good try, good try. You see what he's trying to do? He's trying to come in, and he's always coming towards the ball, which is super. But at the time, right then, he wanted to angle his racket so it hit away the angle behind him. That's a chance you take when you're coming in. You got to watch your racket face. You want to think about on volleys, over and then down, over and then down. We have a tendency on volleys to think about just getting the ball low. We've got to get it over the net first. Okay, score? 40-15. They're up 2 points to 1, 3 points to 1. There you go. Caught the line and did not catch the line. Okay, his serve caught the very outside of that line, which remember, any line, any portion of the line, no matter how small the portion of the line is, it does not matter. All lines are good. So each time it gets anywhere close to the line, instead of evaluating it, you automatically play it. You play the lines in good faith. It's not like you're a professional and you have the eye machine out there and it electronically decides it, or you have umpires out there that do it. When you're calling the game, if you have any question, the rule says it has to be clearly out to call it out. Okay, so this is another odd game that's going on. That's why they're switching. They're coming back to a new server. So remember the order. Trey is serving. Then after that, we'll go back to the ladies serving, and that's the order they start, and that's the order they're staying. So he'll announce the game count. 3 serving, 2 is the game count. So they're up 1 break, as they say, first set. And usually, you know, we've stopped on all this stuff because of everything going on with the virus and stuff. But usually, we have big scoring things that stick out over the edge of the court. And you can see that little post over there that's on the left of Jane has a little metal rod that's up there on top. That's usually where scoring sets. And the scoring tells you what the game is. It tells you, sometimes the scoring even tells you what the score of the game is, but usually keeps track of the games for you, who's got what games. So I could have been distracting because I'm over here commentating, but if I was distracting, then we would let Trey play that over again. But for today's purposes, we're using it as a training exercise. He doesn't really know that I'm over here talking, and so if he gets a second serve that doesn't go in and double faults, then he has to play it as if. So you have to be mentally thinking about your game. You can't let your first serve bother you. You've got to take your time, go through your rhythm, figure out your serve, get your process going. Look, a couple of chip shots there. Very nice get on Laura's part. Very nice get on Jane's part. Very well played point. He chipped it in, Laura chipped it back and made everybody move. And then Jane stepped right in and put that ball where they couldn't get it. So now it's 15-30. So they're making their way back 1 point at a time. So a little long on that. Here we go, second serve. Very nice. Good. Here. Oh, gosh, she was so right there. Remember what I said about over first and then down? You saw how flat or how closed her racket face was? So she had exactly the right shot. She had the space and everything. So now we have 15-40. Sometimes the saying will be 2 to deuce. I don't know who started that, but they need 2 more points in a row to get them back even so they can stay in this game. Nice little chip. Laura's really good about picking up those chips. Oh, Jimmy faded right there. It came right to him, and sometimes those are the worst balls, the balls that are hit right to you. It's like you drop your racket, you don't keep it up. You got to keep your racket up and be ready for every shot. It's 30-40. They're making their comeback. They just need 1 more point, and they'll be in deuce. That was a super serve, super serve. So they went from being down, almost losing that game, to where now they are 40-40, which is deuce. So one of these two has to get 2 points in a row. Somebody has to get 2 points in a row. That's what we're looking at. 2 points in a row. Oops. Now first serve, because when it hit the tape and bounced, then it went in that service box as if it would have been legal. Now just throwing this inside there, when you go to team tennis, which is a type of professional matches, then it doesn't matter. You only get 1 serve. First serve in regardless. So if it had hit the tape and gone in, it wouldn't have mattered the bounce. Now Jane's got a really good eye there about the angles. She is really working those angles. And then when Jimmy gets his racket on it, it's at the wrong place for him to put it back into play. So she does a really good job of angles. There's no reason to hit a person, and you can use an angle to get away. So look at those 2 super serves. After poor thing made that double fault to the first, look how he came back and kept a nice steady serve here. So now the score is 2-4. 2-4, 2 games to 4. So Trey held his serve. He held his serve. So that's what you're looking for. So now it's Laura's serve, and she really needs to hold her serve so they can put it just a service break down. There we go. Oops, just long, just long. And did you see how they were back there to play? She was ready to play it until it absolutely bounced long. So if you play it and it's long, you can't go back and say, oh, it was long and I didn't hit it. Once you hit it before it bounces, it has to be in play. It doesn't matter. Now we're on second serve. There we go. Nice return. That was a little long there, so they made that call. You know, and these are all really nice people, really nice players, get along. You don't question anything. There's no reason to. That was a super, super, super shot. I don't know that you could actually see him hit it because of the angle, but you saw how it dropped. It bounced almost 3 times, 2 times before it even got into the box. definitely call drop shots when they do that because they drop so much. Another super return. You see how Jane is kind of holding off. She's still tracking the ball until it's the one she gets. She comes over and covers. She goes back to her alley. She comes over and covers. She comes back to her alley. And finally, those two super returns that Trey made forced them back to where they sent up a defensive shot, like a defensive lob. Now, if that lob had been deeper over their head, that'd been different. But sent up a really nice lob that gave a chance for Jane to go in and put that ball away. And if you notice, she didn't have to really hit the ball hard. She just had to place it. Here's another loopy one. Nice little approach for Laura. Look how it's kind of scoopy right there. She's going to do it again. And bless his heart, he had a stroke on that one. Oh, anyway. She sent it up, she sent it up, she sent it up. It was all in his wheelhouse. And then what does he do? He doesn't hit it over first. He hits down on it. So those are the things that we look at. Hitting the ball over, then you can go down on it. Another good serve, another cross-court serve. And did you notice how far Jane was playing into the middle of the court? And that ball was placed exactly in the right place but not executed because she was going to pass Jane in the alley. Jane kept moving over and coming back, moving over and coming back. So as soon as she was getting ready to come back, her alley was free. So that's where Laura was aiming for, was down her alley. That would have been a great pass shot. Now remember again, the alley, the net in the alley is going to be higher. The net in the alley is going to be higher. So that's a huge thing. You have to make sure if you're going to pass someone, you get that ball up and over. Now, I know I said we weren't going to play a full set, but what's going to happen right now, the score went from 4-2 to 5-2. There's a huge gap in there. That's an important game in there. It could have gone back 4-3, and there would be only one game difference to hold. Now it's 5-2. You have to break twice in order to win back on this set. So this game right here will decide whether this set is over or not. And even if they don't win this one, we're going to go ahead and switch around on this one just because that's where we're at right now. So, first serve in, very nice serving. And I would say that most of these players, they're fairly evenly matched. Laura was going for a really wide angle, and she did get it out of her reach. We laugh about this sometimes you go so far for the angle that you don't quite get the angle that you want. But sometimes the ball comes into you a little quicker than you plan on. So there's a lot of scenarios in this. Warm up again is really important. That was tacky of him to take advantage like that.
That was perfect shot, right?
Yeah. That's when we make the joke and say, was that about the right height? That's what we usually do. So even though she likes Trey, that wasn't exactly where she wanted to hit it. So, but that's what you do. You try to hit and make the other people move. You try to hit a shot that the other people are not going to get. He probably has hit those all day long. Now you'll notice that they all have different styles of playing. You know, they have a little hop, they have a little thing behind them, the left side. But basically what I do see that I hope you're seeing is they're always ready. They've got their knees bent, they're always ready. They get their rackets back, their rackets are ready to hit. They're paying attention to the balls, they're always watching. They're always trying to get the balls back one way or another. You get one more ball back and you have a chance. There it was. So that was a really nice lob. That was a good offensive lob that Jane set up, which then in turn, we were trying to get Jane's back, and Jane's lob was more of a defensive to get her out of trouble, and it didn't quite go as deep as it needed to, so that left Jimmy with a perfect opportunity. Now, you did notice that we lost Trey there for a while. He went over to the opposite court to make sure that they had the 3 balls, so that you do keep that in play, and he would have done that if somebody else had been playing on the other court. They would have stopped play because that's interfering or distracting with their game. So that's another thing that they try to do. Oh. It overcame him. The power of the serve overcame him. So I think that was possibly more indecision than anything else, and he wasn't sure what was going on. Okay, so we're going to have a powwow. So Jimmy, you and Laura come over.
Okay.
And they're going to give you their take on this set. And then we're going to do the same thing with Jane and Trey, and then we're going to switch people. Okay.
Ladies first.
Ladies first. I love it.
I think we probably just made a little too many errors in that set. We didn't really move together, so that's probably basically.
But there were some good points, and you
some
had
good points.
yes.
Sometimes it's the point think that you win.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
And I did mention that during the time. That you were ready, you did hit, and a lot of times you were hitting the right shot, but it was more execution than anything else.
Yeah.
You were ready to hit the shot. You work really well together, so you can tell that. Now, what would you change other than just what you said? Would there be anything that you would change other than I would have gotten my point into play? Is there anything else you feel like that you would have changed that would have made a difference on this game?
I might have made him run a little more.
Yeah, hit it where they are.
Okay. Because you did that the first couple of games. You used your angles really well. You approached well. Your approaches were super. I think that you got jammed a couple of times. That's just my opinion. That you got so close, you didn't actually get the ball over first and then down. You got it down and not over. That's just looking from this perspective over there. Okay, so you guys are going to switch up. You're going to get new partners, and we're going to see how this new thing works. There you go. Now, typically, a lot of times, right after this. Now, let me ask you this. I'm putting you two come on over. I'm going to put you guys on the spot, so you don't have to. Would you like to do it the other way around? Would you like to make a decision about changing your positions and giving them another try, or would you like to change partners? Okay. So Jane and Trey are going to come over, and they're going to tell you their take on it. So we've decided not to switch partners. We've decided to change strategy. So tell me why, either one, it doesn't matter, throw in as much as you want.
Okay.
Why do you think that you won that set, other than the fact they lost points? What do you think?
I think a lot of it, he put a lot of it away at the net.
Correct.
For me personally, I try to serve wide. The one time I served to Jimmy's forehand, he just ripped it down
He
the
did
line.
rip it,
so
didn't he?
I had to find out, okay,
Yes.
his weaker one's going to be his backhand, and he has a tendency to slice,
Okay.
which would draw the ball upward, and with Trey having his long span, he could just
Yes.
put it away.
Yes.
So it was much easier when you have a good partner at the net for the server, because they put the ball away, and you really don't have to do anything much.
No. No.
Yeah.
What do you think, Trey? What was
we
effective?
talked about how most female players are consistent, and the male players put the balls away. I think the opposite happened.
I think the opposite happened too, and that's no reflection because I loved your approach shots. I loved your chip shots. Your chip shots coming in, Trey, set up for Jane at the net.
Jane had a lot
Right
of good
there.
throwaways.
And then when you did drive the ball, which you drove it, then they were on the defense, then Jane was still there. And what I liked, now I always like this about Jane because I see this, she takes her time at the net. She can wait long enough to place it where they're not.
She did.
So she took advantage of that because Laura is very quick, and you saw that there wasn't a single ball Laura did not get to. But she got it back, and that gave Jane a chance to go, oh, look at this new opening that's here. So I think you guys took advantage of some of the openings. Now, are you guys going to change strategy since you know that they are? Are you going to change anything?
Probably not, because we have a winning strategy.
There you
so
go.
It's up to them to try to
That's-
figure us out.
Thank you very much for mentioning that. That's exactly right.
Because if we change it,
Mhm.
then it's a whole,
Mhm.
it's their new strategy, and we have a new
Mhm.
strategy. So
What do you think about at times when sometimes this happens is the other people just are not on, so you've not had to actually do too much thinking, and then all of a sudden now they're on, and you didn't even know that they had some of that in their arsenal? What happens then?
Panic.
Okay, a second. Now what
There's a
happens
tiebreaker.
second then? Okay, that's right. But do you feel like that happens in doubles a lot?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And we'll probably see that this set too.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
They're good
Yeah.
doubles
Right.
partners, and they're good players. And we
Perfect.
caught them a little off guard. Few
Gotcha.
unforced errors helped us
Gotcha.
out, obviously.
Mhm.
So we'll have to tighten up our game
Good.
and continue with the smart things that we have been doing.
Good. And I noticed nobody glared at anybody, no trash talking, none of that happened. So
Not yet.
that's just how social tennis is right there. That's our good.
Absolutely.
Okay, good luck on your second
Thank
set. Okay, we'll be watching. Now, I hope that you can notice this may be part of your submissions on here. I'm going to move out so you can see me talking about this. You know that each one of these has a submission on it, okay? The word of the day for this one is Adidas, like Adidas apparel or Adidas sports or Adidas tennis or anything about Adidas. And I want you to let me know what you see that's different this set. What is different going on this set that they're going to play? What are they going to do different? Are they changing sides? Are they changing where they're going to serve? Are they changing how they're approaching? What are they going to do different? So that's going to be your take on it right here. So right off the bat, I want you to notice the first thing right off the bat. What's the difference between Laura and Jimmy right now? Where was he positioned on the court a while ago? Where was he? Did you notice the type of return he hit just in right then? So see what his playing is going to be like, where he's standing as the defensive person. He is receiving. His team is receiving. So look where he's standing in the service box right here. He's going to make line calls if Laura needs them to make sure that the serve does land in the box. Those are the things that we're looking at. See how he picked that off? And he picked it off. This is kind of a little saying, and I know I've said this before. In the middle solves the riddle. That's what they say. If you can't figure out to where to hit it, you haven't got a good angle, you hit in the middle between the two of them, because it's usually confusing on who's going to get it. Typically, the person with the forehand is the stronger shot, and typically the person who is in front of the other person. Now, did you see how she made him move? Remember, she went right back and said, I saw I couldn't hit where I needed to, so I needed to pull him out and make him move. She did that right then. And you notice that what we're looking at is, remember, we want you, instead of going parallel to hit a ball, we want you to go forward to hit a ball. So here she goes. She's playing it really smart over there, and she's making a move. So that was a little long. So he just said yes, no, long, whatever, no. So they're very good about keeping the play going. Don't do a lot of dissecting on it. And they're staying ready. You see how Trey is really ready. Look at him watching the ball. Look at him. Racket's right in the middle. Look at him. Look at him moving. There he get. Ooh. And that was, unfortunately, James. And the placement there was really good on Jimmy's part. He put it back in the middle. He did to them what they did to them earlier. He put it back to the middle of the court. Here we go. Good serve. Whoa! That was a super serve to his back and right down the middle of the service boxes. That line is the center service mark, center service line between the two boxes. It is good for either side. That was a super serve. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Now, he did a good cutoff, another good poach, another good step in. He saw that ball coming, and Trey was too busy worrying about where it was going to come on his side. He had to make a decision. So Jimmy stepped in and took it. These are some really good points you guys are watching. I hope that you watch the whole thing and see everything that's going on. Very nice. Look at that. Oh, they keep coming back. That's really nice defensive play back there. And you'll notice that Jimmy stayed up on the net ready for the next ball. If it had gone over his head, Laura would have been there to pick that ball off. So a lot of good playing. That was a little long. So here we go, second serve. And the play's going quick. We do have some long points, but overall, these points are staying pretty short. Oh, did you hear what he said? She had the right idea. And I know it sounds kind of trite to say it's better to lose a point correctly than it is to just completely hit the wrong shot. And very few of their shots have been mishits. Very few of their shots have been mishits. Now, I hope that you kind of noticed on that, from seeing it from the back, it was really easy to see that return of Jimmy's. He did not follow through. And did you see right now, he mimicked that motion. He put his hand up and he followed through to remind himself you need to follow through. The same thing with Laura. She stopped and didn't follow through. So we have to remind ourselves, even the good players, we have to remind ourselves to follow through. I'm going to shoot in here while they're changing after this first game, so that you can kind of see what's happening. You can't see them off on the side. They'll come over there, they'll talk to their partner, they'll get something to drink or whatever. They'll discuss their strategy of what they're going to do. They'll kind of dissect and say, okay, this is what happened on this point, this is what happened on that point, and this was what I want to do from now on. Or keep up this one, keep going with this, keep moving them over to the side. So now you can see them playing it. My jacket. Another super serve, and I haven't mentioned this before, that before on this is, there also is a saying that says a good serve makes a good return. So a lot of times when someone hits the ball really hard, it's really deep, has a lot of pace on it, then you get to, as the returner, you get to use some of their pace. Thank you. And that's a really neat thing to do, because you don't have to generate quite as much energy to get that ball back. So sometimes we can use theirs. You do notice that they're being playing very close to each other when they hit those volleys back. They want to create that angle, or they want to try what they say, crowd people. Now he had a really good idea, meaning Jimmy. He was just going to flick that ball back up and over. And that's what happens when it lands at your feet if you can't get that ball in front of you. And it's really hard to have that little soft touch on it. But if you did manage to get it over flicking that ball, it would have no bounce on it. It'd be really hard for them to get back and get it. You notice that he kind of said, oh, I think I can get that. Oh, no, I can't. And now Laura was watching him because she saw him move out of his alley. So now they're playing in his alley. Oh, good get on Jane's part. Good cover on Trey's. Very nice point. Very well played point. A lot of good coverage on that. Getting yourself out of trouble sometimes requires going forward, even though you think you don't want to go forward. It requires you to keep moving forward. So that's what you're looking at right there, moving forward. Moving forward. See how he's moving forward? Oh, right idea, but he's got to get it over the net first. Right idea. He was just going to softly kind of roll that over or drop it over there in the corner, and that would be very effective because there was nobody there to get that ball. Again, it's really hard to take off pace on it, especially as you're moving forward. There she goes, and bummer. So, right idea. He chipped it right back to her. I got something. Chipped it right back to her. But then he jammed her and hit it, and all she could do was just kind of stick her racket out. Sometimes you get lucky. These guys have really good hands, which means they're always getting hold of a ball. So that's really nice. I think that serve was really back, and she didn't call it, meaning Jane didn't call it. And so they played it in good faith. And the thing about it is, this is another one of those things. The person that's serving can see their service line better than the people that are actually receiving it. I know that sounds funny, but when you're on the other side of the court, you can see whether your ball is too long or hit the call. But it's not your call to make. It's the person that is returning it. Now, one of the questions I always ask is, what happens if you return a ball that was out? If you played it in good faith, you have to play that ball. But what you don't do is you don't return it and then wait to see what kind of return you made, and then you call it out. You don't do that. When you return a ball, you have been returning it in good faith. So unless it's just really, really out and you're doing this consistently, then again, you have to be able to call it clearly out. So it's not the server's ball to call. Now, I like how Jane's taking her time just to step forward to hit the ball. And this is something most of you guys, especially as beginner tennis players, and then going on that you want to get better, you want to always try to contact the ball in front of you. Go get it. If you back up, you're only backing up to set up so you can step forward. You're not backing up in order that you can go one way or another. So I want you to really think about that. Once they all serve, what we're going to do is we're going to do a tiebreaker. Once they all serve, we're going to do a tiebreaker. And we're going to play two different tiebreakers. We're going to play one that we can use for later on, and that tiebreaker will be our 7-point tiebreaker, who gets to 7 first and ahead by 2. And a second tiebreaker is going to be a super tiebreaker, which is called a 10-point tiebreaker. And the reason why we're going to do that is because if you go anywhere in our area and play a tournament play, in lieu of a third set, they always play a 10-point tiebreaker. So recreational tennis and league tennis, instead of playing 3 full sets like professionals play or leagues play, good move, Jane. Then what they'll do is they'll play that 10-point tiebreaker. So again, we've got one more server coming up. And then what we're going to do is we're going to play tiebreakers. So you'll see what's happening. So it looks like that they're doing really well at the net this time. They're watching and tracking the balls really good. And it's also helping because we're having good service games also. So that first serve was a little long. So now we're ready for the second serve. So here we go. Second serve in. Yes, nice and deep. Very nice serve. And this is another thing you're noticing. Everybody's hugely complimentary. A lot of sportsmanship about your team. You don't want to make it like it's terrible because they didn't have good serve. You don't want to make them feel bad because they had a double fault. You want to be complimentary of those serves and the points that they put in. That was super. That net shot that Jane hit just set it off so that Laura couldn't get it. Look at her. She's going over and checking the net now. And what's funny is that's what you're supposed to do when you start the game. You don't go back in halfway through the game and then do it. The first thing you do is you check the net when you go out. Of course, now she feels good about it. But what was funny about that one was Jane actually hit the net first for her ball to go over. And then Laura's hit it and did not come over on the next one. And sometimes when it's really windy, and sometimes when there's backspin on sometimes on the balls, then that's when those balls do those little trick things. And if you'll remember that, we mentioned this way early in the semester, that if someone hits a really big slide, or maybe a bounce on a ball, and it goes over and then comes back, that's the only time that you can reach over the net to touch the ball. Okay, it is now love 3. So as soon as this game is over, we're going to play like this was a full set that was played so that we can go into our tiebreakers. And so, but a typical game, if they'd already won the first 2 sets, then we would not be playing a tiebreaker. So we're going to use this for not only our mixed doubles, but also for our doubles tiebreaker information. We'll have something separate for our singles tiebreaker. Here we go. Another nice serve. Here it is. See right down the line. Oh, that was a great shot, Laura. And Jane had her racket there ready, but notice again her racket face was open, so that's why it went long. So 30 love, 2 points to no points. Good first serve. Way to get her racket on it. Oh, look at him go across and poach. Great job. And did you notice, if you could see, while he was going across to poach to the forehand side, the right side, behind him, then what was happening was Jane was going to the opposite side of the court, so they wouldn't be left without anybody on the court. Makes a big difference, a big difference. Now it's over Jane's head, it's over Laura's head, so they're changing position. Poor thing, he hit it long. He had the whole court to work with. Sometimes that's worse when you have the whole court to work with instead of a small space, because you have a tendency to overhit. Remember, the most important thing is getting the ball into play. Getting the ball into play. Here we go, another nice serve. Chipped it up, put it right up. She's going to get it over his head or passing, and she did. Good shot, good shot. Good shot. That was a bummer, wasn't it? Okay, was that game?
No.
Okay.
30-40.
30-40. Laura says she thinks her game is over, but her partner says no, we have one more chance at this. So this is why we want to really keep track of the scores here so we know exactly where we're at. Here we go. Super serve. He's going to watch and see. Oh my gosh, and he hit it long. He had the whole court. Okay, we're going to play a tiebreaker. So we're going to play 2 of them. We're going to play like y'all won that.
Make some noise in the wall.
We're going to play 2 of them, and the first one is the one that's played in educational centers, if you want to call it that way. The 7-point tiebreaker. We're going to play that one. We're going to play that one first, and then we'll play the 10-point after that.
No, we're playing 7.
So
We're going to play traditional. Switch on to 6,
correct,
right?
correct.
Yeah.
So traditional tiebreaker is whoever was not serving the last game, which is you, then that starts the first person serving. And how many serves do you get? One. Well, it's actually you get 2 serve attempts, but you only get to serve 1 point. Correct. Yes. So we're right in that before the second server comes in. Okay, so here we are, the first point of the tiebreaker. Super. Okay, now, only that first person. Now it goes immediately to the other team, and look, since only 1 point was played, and that's odd, they start on the left side, the odd side, the add out side. 0, 1, and it's in numbers. It's not by 15, it's in numbers. Nice placement there. Look, nice placement. Look at the angles. We need to pass somebody. Oh, a little confusion there on that. There we go. So now it is 1-1. Did you see they stayed in the middle on that shot? 1-1. This will be his 2nd point serving. 2nd point serving for Jimmy. 2nd point serving. Here we go. 1-1. Even score. We're looking for the first to 7 ahead by 2. Now it goes to Trey, and it's 3 points have been played. It's 1-2. Trey's team has 1 point. Laura's team has 2 points. Trey's going to start serving on that side, and then we'll get his second one on the add side or even side. 2-1. Got another serve coming. Jay, make sure that she's got it out of the way. Second serve. Oh, bummer. Okay. So now it is 1-3. And the sun's getting to be a little bit of a factor over here on that side. That's hard for you guys to see, but on his ball toss. And did you remember that when Trey was serving before, that he was serving on the side over here where the sun was not that much? Okay, so now it's Laura's serve, and she's going to start from the left-hand side because 5 points have been played. 5 points. And what is the tiebreaker score? 4-1. 4-1, and she's going to get 2 points worth. 4-1. This is a big gap. This is really a big important thing. So this tiebreaker could go by in a heartbeat. Tiebreakers are elongated games to determine a set. Oh, very nice. That was a huge rally. That was a super rally went on just then. Super rally. So that score now is 5-1. So 5 plus 1 equals 6 points. At multiples of 6, they change sides. So look at Laura. Laura got to serve 1 time on this side, and now she's going to do 1 time on the other side. So now the sun is a factor over there. They are up 5-1. So there's a lot of little details in the traditional tiebreaker, which is the 7-point tiebreaker. Almost. It's coming back to Jane, so she's going to stop it. And if it was a huge delay right here, then we would start all the way over from the first point. Oh, a good steal, good attempt right there. Just a little late. And remember again, we go back to get it over first and then down. So now it is 2 points to 5. 2 points to 5, and it's Jane's serve. 2 points to 5. Now, if they win both of these points, this tiebreaker will be over. So she's got to hold her serve, her 2 points. 2-5. First serve in. Oh, that was a shorty. Shorted her. She thought he was going to hit right to her. So now it is 2-6. A little pressure here. 2-6. Good serve. Here we go. Laura's going to try to make her run. And it's just long. So there we go. So tiebreaker. After playing that stupendous game. So the tiebreaker was won by a score of 7-2. So a tiebreaker written 7-6, and then in parentheses you could write 7-2, or you could just put 2 and they would know that it was a 7-point tiebreaker. Now they're going to play a 10-point tiebreaker. So you can see the difference between the two. So the last person to serve, the other team will serve the 10-point tiebreaker. Okay, so last person starting was Jane. So Laura, you and Jimmy will be serving for the 10-point. You'll start off the 10-point.
You want to do Coleman or Rice?
Let's do Coleman. Yeah, let's do Coleman. Now this is just called the Coleman for whoever made this up. I have no idea why they did. But this will be the Coleman. And you don't have to be responsible on the name. The test will actually go over the traditional one, the 7-point tiebreaker. But I just want you to see what happens when you go somewhere and play in a tournament, if you did or saw somebody, and in lieu of that third set, they're automatically going to play this tiebreaker. That's the difference right there. Oh, good shot, good shot, good shot. So again, only 1 point is served and played by the first server, and then they immediately switch sides because it's odd. It's an odd number. 1 is an odd number. So instead of doing like they did before and they stay until multiples of 6 are done, this one we're going to change on odd numbers. After the first serve, after the 5th serve, after the 9th serve, after that's how it's going to go from now on. Okay, here we are. We're still in numbers. go. Just a little long. So 2 points have been played. That's why she's serving from the right side of the court, the even side. That was really close to the line. Oh, it jumped up on her. It had a funny bounce, a funny jump. And then that's sometimes when you get a miss-hit, which is what happened on Jane. Jane miss-hit it, so it came back to her funny. That's why she missed it. 0-3. Love 3. And overheads are tricky. Overheads, sometimes you drop your head, sometimes you let the ball drop, sometimes you don't reach up and get it. There's a lot of things that happens on those overheads. Nice move. Nice move. Nice move. So they took the pace off the ball and moved it around. Took the pace off the ball. I think it's over in the other court. He's going to have to get his first serve in. Now, if this had happened during play, stop play, and he had had a point already, or excuse me, a serve already done, then they would start back from the second serve, so you don't have a distraction. A little wide. Second serve. Again, look where he's standing. Very nice on that serve in the court. There he is. He's looking for where there's no one in the... Oh, and she flailed it out there. Very good. Okay, now 5 points have been played. Remember the odd numbers? After 1, after 5, after 9, after 13, that's when they change sides. So now the score is 4-1. This now scenario is who gets to 10 first, ahead by 2. Again, your test will be over the traditional one, but you need to know how a 10-point tiebreaker works if you ever decide to play in any type of match, tournament, or recreational, because it takes the place of a third set. Score is 4-1. It helps cut down on time. It's enormously hard to play 3 sets, especially if you're evenly matched after the first 2. It'll take forever to play that third set. He was trying to take his time coming in, did a really good job on this, approaching the net, coming in for that last little volley. Very nice point. 4-2. You always want to hope that you do hold your 2 points. Serving is so important, especially in a tiebreaker. You only get 2 at a time. He's talking to himself now. So they went from being up 4-1 to only being up 4-3, with Laura having 2 serves. So here we go. 3-4. 3-4 is the score. So they're making their way back, tying it up. Sometimes they'll call these breaks like mini breaks, if they were up a mini break. That means you have a chance to go ahead and pull out a game with this. But then when someone takes your serves, takes your points, then you've lost your break. These are little half volleys and little volleys. They'll pick up, see how she hit it right at his feet. It's really hard to pick those up. Okay, so now it is an even score. It's 3-5. They were 3-4. Now it's 3-5. 3 and 5 is 8. She's serving from there. That was a super serve. Super serve. From this angle, you can see how it caught the line over here. And Jane got over to get it, but couldn't quite keep it in the court. So that was really good on Laura's part. So now that pulled them within, just almost getting right even. It is now 5-4. It'll be Jane's serve, and it'll be 5-4 will be the score. So they're really close. Jane's going to have to really think about hoping that she keeps both of her serves in play. Now, this is an odd number. I'm over here talking out of camera. Nobody's on camera. This is an odd number of 9 points. That's why they switched on the side. Now, in tiebreakers, they can't sit down. In tiebreakers, they can pass and get a drink, but then they got to get right back to the court because it's not a full game. And it's not a full changeover court. Second serve. Nice little guide coming in. Look at Laura right there, stepped right in front. Great angle. So now it is 5-5. 10 points have been played, but neither one of them have won 10 points. So 10 points have been played. This is a little bit easier than me doing the tiebreaker that I did last semester with the dinosaurs on the ping pong table. So this gives you more of a chance to actually see people in play playing the tiebreaker. You'll have a way you can look at both of those. Oh, good idea. Good idea. She was just going to chip it over there short. Laura has that shot. I've seen it, unfortunately. She was just going to chip it over there in that open little court and make Jane run all the way up to it. So now the score is 5-6. 5-6. So that's 11 points. After Jimmy finishes his 2 serves, then they'll be switching sides again. They serve 1 and then switch after 4 and then after 4 and then after 4. So it's 5-7. They're getting closer and closer to who has 10 points. 5-7. There we go. First serve. Ooh, almost. See if you can start watching every now and then. How come some of the serves go long? How come some of the serves go short in the net? What do they do? Oh, he had a good idea. But you can see he hit with a big old swing and a big old open stance, and he was wanting to hit in the alley, which you can't hardly see from here, but it went a little wide. So Trey's doing a good job back there about staying farther back, not getting into the court so he can make good calls on this. So now it is 8-5, and as they say, the win is on their racket. It's up to Trey. Trey can get both of his serves in, and they'll have 10 points and be ahead by 2. So it is 8-5. 8-5. This is when you joke and say no pressure here. 8-5. You want to play it like you've played all the other points. A little long, so we've got second serve coming in. Here we go. Very nice serve. Good little nice little ground stroke coming back. Trey's moving in. And it looks like Jimmy got a little hurried back there. I couldn't see him actually hit it, but I saw where it went in the net. So now this is set point. Set point for this tiebreaker. It is 9-5, which is an odd score. Yes. 9-5, which is 14 points total played. It's all or nothing right here. There it is, nice and plain. Remember what we said about playing the points that you need? Be consistent. Yes. Oh, on the line. Super duper 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 super point. Very nice. Very nice. Good playing, good points, good sportsmanship, good technique, everything about it. Well played. So you have the traditional tiebreaker and the Coleman or the 10-point tiebreaker for the third set. So we've gotten opinions from all of them. I think they enjoyed it. I know I enjoyed watching and commentating. It was absolutely wonderful. I hope you enjoyed. You've got so many different things. Like I said, we're going to break this up into 2 weeks. You're going to give me a whole bunch of information for the mixed doubles. And then the following week, you're going to give me a whole bunch of information for the tiebreaker because we'll have a tiebreaker skill coming up. So this video will go for 2 of them along with some handwritten information. So this will be like 8.5 and then 9.5 together. We'll just kind of sling it in there. So Adidas was for the first part. So the second part for our tiebreaker stuff, we're going to say not Adidas. We're going to say Fila, F-I-L-A. Fila is going to be for the tiebreaker information. So you got your 2 for 1 going in. Thank you very much. We'll see you in 2 weeks for 10.5 from there. Thank you again.